Hello. It's amazing that you're here, because what you're about to hear could become the most important turning point in your journey toward prosperity. I'm going to share something with you that might truly surprise you, something most people who long for financial freedom and abundance completely overlook. Have you ever felt stuck in an endless race? You work hard, fight for every penny. Maybe you've tried all sorts of plans and methods, but the door to true wealth, the kind of prosperity that brings peace, never seems to open. Or worse, it opens for a moment, and the abundance vanishes as quickly as it came, slipping through your fingers like sand, leaving behind frustration and emptiness. The truth is, it's not just about working harder or finding the next magic investment trick or following the latest market trend. Sustainable prosperity, the kind that brings no sorrow, is not a game of luck or a maze of complex numbers. It's the result of applying eternal principles from ancient wisdom that, while available to all, are practiced by very few. And that wisdom is found in one book, the most practical and powerful life manual ever written, the Book of Proverbs. This book is God's GPS for your life, including your finances. It's not just a set of religious tips, it's a divine activation code for blessings to manifest in your life in ways you never imagined. In this video, I'll reveal 10 proverbs that, if applied today with faith and diligence, can radically transform your financial destiny. They're not just beautiful verses to memorize, they're keys that unlock doors to meaningful abundance. If you're ready to break the cycle of lack, debt, and stagnation, and start building a legacy that honors God and blesses your family, this is your moment. But before we dive into this life-changing revelation, I invite you to become part of this faith-driven community. Subscribe right now, because each week we share messages that empower you to live in the fullness of God's purpose. And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified every time we upload a new word of hope and prosperity to guide your journey. Let's begin with the foundation of it all, the proverb that sets the stage, without which everything else loses meaning. It's in Proverbs 3:9-10, and it's one of the most misunderstood yet powerful verses about prosperity. It says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine." Most people focus on the second part, the desire for full barns and overflowing vats. But the key to that abundance lies in the first part. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your crops. Honoring God with your wealth isn't about a fixed amount or religious ritual. It's a heart posture that acknowledges every cent, every asset, every business opportunity comes from Him. It's a radical act of faith that says, "God, you are my source, not my job, not my business, not my talents. And to show my trust in you, I give you the first. I give you the best of what you've given me." This principle goes against worldly logic, which tells you to save, to hoard, to cling to what you have. But God's wisdom says, release the first, the best, and He will bless and multiply the rest. This principle is so foundational that even secular financial authors like Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad, Poor Dad teach the importance of paying yourself first when you receive income. He says, the first 10% should go to your investment account so your wealth can grow. But biblical wisdom goes even deeper. It teaches us to honor God first, to give Him the first fruits, the tithe, what belongs to Him, before we pay ourselves, before we cover any bills, before any expense. It's an act of faith that shows your trust isn't in money, but in the one who gives you the power to create wealth. When you honor God with your first fruits, you're not just securing a blessing, you're positioning Him as the majority partner in your finances. A partner who never fails, never leaves, and opens doors no one can shut. When you live by this principle, your entire outlook changes. You no longer see your money as something scarce to hoard out of fear. You see it as a tool God has entrusted to you to manage with purpose. And the blessing doesn't stop at your bank account. It extends to your health, your relationships, and the peace within your heart. It becomes a covenant of prosperity. I declare that from this day forward, your barns will be filled, and your vats will overflow through the faithfulness of your God. Now, in the comments, I invite you to make a prophetic declaration over your life to seal this covenant. Write, I declare that I will honor God with my wealth, and He will cause my barns to overflow with blessings. The second proverb confronts a harsh reality many try to avoid, but it's essential for prosperity. It's found in Proverbs 13:4, and it's as simple as it is powerful. The lazy person craves but gets nothing, but the diligent are fully satisfied. Prosperity isn't some inheritance that falls from the sky just because you wish for it. Laziness is a silent and deadly enemy. It hides behind excuses like waiting for the right time, lack of opportunity, or being too busy with other things. But the truth is, without work, without action, without diligence, there is no prosperity. God's blessing doesn't cancel the need to work. It enhances it, multiplies it, and takes it to a whole new level. Biblical wisdom teaches us that working with excellence and purpose is a form of worship. Just like a farmer who wants a great harvest doesn't just pray. He wakes up early, prepares the soil, plants seeds, waters the ground, and removes weeds. We must do our part with diligence. Prosperity is the result of God's blessing on your constant, excellent work. There are no shortcuts to success. If you want God's blessing to show up in your finances, you have to show up with purpose. Wake up with intention. Look for new ways to serve, to learn, and to do everything with excellence, as if you were doing it for the Lord. I once heard the story of a man named Miguel from Mexico City. Miguel was a talented graphic designer. He had brilliant ideas and a great vision, but his work life was a mess. He went from job to job, always on the edge of financial ruin. He dreamed of having his own agency, but he struggled to deliver projects on time. Clients complained about delays, and the quality wasn't always consistent. His laziness opened the door to scarcity. One day, Miguel had a revelation. He realized God's blessing wasn't for dreamers, it was for doers. He decided every project he took on would become an act of worship. He stopped looking for shortcuts and began working with diligence and care like never before. The change was incredible. His reputation grew, clients multiplied, and today he runs a thriving design agency. Not just because of his talent, but because of the diligence he now pours into every detail. God's prosperity doesn't cancel the need to work. It empowers it, multiplies it, and blesses it. The third proverb is a warning that could save you from a deadly financial trap. It's found in Proverbs 22:7. It says, "The borrower is slave to the lender." There's no way to sugarcoat this truth. Debt is slavery. Living in debt means living under the weight of a system that doesn't belong to you. It steals your peace, limits your options, and ties your future to uncertainty. Debt is like a monster chasing you. No matter how fast you run, you can't reach your full potential while dragging that weight. Biblical wisdom urges us to be free, to be stewards, not slaves to debt. Most people fall into debt for two main reasons. The first is buying things they don't need to impress people who don't care. The second is a lack of planning and discipline. This proverb isn't saying you should never borrow to buy a home or invest in a business that can generate wealth. It warns against consumer debt, credit cards with sky-high interest rates that trap you in chains. It urges you to be extremely wise and cautious with your money and to pursue financial freedom with all your strength. If you're in debt, the first step is to stop adding more. The second is to create a plan to pay it down with diligence and with prayer. Don't be ashamed. Be honest with yourself and with God. Financial freedom takes discipline, patience, and faith, but the reward is worth it. The peace of living debt-free, the freedom to make decisions with purpose, and the ability to be generous with what God has given you. Declare that you are free from every financial chain. If you need prayer for debt, for your business, your job, or anything else, leave a comment. We'll be praying for you and for God's blessing over your finances, because we believe prayer has the power to move mountains, including financial ones. Fourth, the fourth principle reminds us that faith without strategy is like a ship with no rudder. Proverbs 21:5 says, "Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty." God's blessing isn't a free pass to improvise. Prosperity requires planning, structure, and vision. Many people pray for prosperity but have no budget. They don't know how much they earn or how much they spend. Prayer is essential, but planning is part of obedience. A financial plan is a map that shows you the way toward your goals. Define your short, mid, and long-term objectives. Do you want to get out of debt? Buy a home? Start a business? Without a plan, you won't know if you're moving forward or backward. God's wisdom is revealed when you sit down to make a budget, track your income and expenses, set clear goals, and review them regularly. Scripture teaches us to be good stewards of what we've been given. God doesn't bless disorder. He blesses order and discipline. A thoughtful plan helps you be intentional with every dollar that comes in and goes out. Just as an architect doesn't build without blueprints, a child of God shouldn't build their financial life without a plan. Prayer gives you direction. Your plan shows you the path. A good plan isn't just about numbers. It's about aligning your finances with God's purpose for your life. It's the tool that allows you to be a faithful and diligent steward. Fifth, the fifth proverb teaches us the value of consistency and focus. Proverbs 12:11 says, "Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense." Some people spend their lives jumping from one idea to another, one business to the next, always chasing the next lucky break. They chase fantasies instead of working the land they already have. True prosperity isn't an event. It's a process. It's built with consistency, focus, and patience. Working your land means dedicating yourself with purpose and excellence to what God has already placed in your hands. If you're a carpenter, be the best carpenter. If you're a salesperson, be the best one out there. If you're a stay-at-home parent, manage your home with excellence. Prosperity isn't found in the next big fantasy that promises instant riches. It's found in the faithfulness and excellence of what you do today. Most people underestimate the power of compound growth, of steady work and daily dedication. A small effort, repeated every day, eventually produces a great harvest. Don't get distracted by the shine of new things. Work your land, and the abundance will come in due time. Sixth, the sixth proverb reminds us where true wealth comes from, the kind that brings no sorrow. Proverbs 10:22 says, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it." This proverb teaches that true wealth doesn't come solely from human effort, but from God's blessing over that effort. There are people who work endlessly, who succeed in the world and accumulate riches, but their lives are filled with sadness, loneliness, and emptiness. Their wealth becomes a burden, not a blessing. God's blessing is different. When He enriches you, that wealth comes with peace, joy, and purpose. It's not the kind of wealth that consumes you, pulls you away from your family, or robs your peace. It's the kind that allows you to serve, to be generous, and to live the life God planned for you. Your effort matters, your work is important, but the blessing that multiplies comes from the Lord. Trust Him, work with excellence, and pray that He blesses the work of your hands. Prosperity without purpose is meaningless. The blessing of the Lord is the X factor in the prosperity equation. A simple act of obedience, a small idea, when touched by his blessing, can be multiplied in ways you never imagined. Seventh, the seventh proverb challenges us to live generously, going against the world's logic. Proverbs 11:24-25 says, "One gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper." This is a prosperity principle that contradicts human nature. We're told to save, hoard, and cling to what we have out of fear. But the Bible teaches us that the path to prosperity is giving. Generosity activates the flow of blessing. It's a spiritual law. What you give comes back to you multiplied. Generosity isn't just for the wealthy. It's an attitude of the heart, an act of faith. It's giving not from your leftovers, but from what you have. It's trusting that God is your source and that He will make sure you lack nothing. A generous heart is a fearless heart, one that isn't attached to money but uses it as a tool to bless others. Scripture tells us it's more blessed to give than to receive. True prosperity isn't about what you accumulate for yourself, it's about what you're able to give to others. The generous will always have enough because God ensures their soul is prospered. Eighth, the eighth proverb teaches us to trust God in every step, to put Him at the center of our decisions. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." This verse reminds us that planning and diligence matter, but direction comes from God. Before starting a business, before investing, before making any big financial decision, commit your plans to the Lord. Place them in His hands. He sees what you don't. The man of God doesn't trust his own intellect or resources. He trusts that God will provide the right guidance. This isn't passivity, it's active faith. It means doing your homework, researching, planning, and then bringing it all to God in prayer, asking for His wisdom and direction. When you commit your works to the Lord, He ensures your plans not only succeed, but align with His purpose for your life. Prosperity that comes from God always carries purpose and direction. Ninth, the ninth proverb teaches us the importance of seeking counsel. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." A wise person doesn't walk alone. They know they don't have all the answers and seek wisdom from others. On the path to prosperity, it's essential to have wise counselors, financial mentors, people who've walked the road you want to walk, and spiritual leaders who offer God's perspective. Having a counselor helps you avoid costly mistakes, see opportunities you might have missed, and stay on the right path. Don't let pride stop you. If you want to prosper, seek advice. Listen to those who already bear the fruit you desire. The wisdom God gives you through others is a blessing. Tenth and final, the proverb that sums everything up. Proverbs 4:7 says, "Wisdom is supreme, so get wisdom." True prosperity isn't about having more money, but about having more wisdom to manage what God gives you. Without wisdom, even wealth will vanish. A wise person knows how to invest, how to save, how to give, how to avoid debt, and how to honor God with their resources. Wisdom is the key that unlocks every door. Pursue it above all. Read the Bible, seek God in prayer, and surround yourself with wise people. We've walked through 10 prosperity principles that aren't just theory, they're a life manual. It's time to stop running in circles, to stop waiting for things to magically change. Prosperity is a path of faith, discipline, and action. So now the question is, which of these 10 proverbs will you apply today? Don't wait for tomorrow, choose one and make the decision to live it. I want to invite you to do something powerful. In the comments, write, "I want to live with God's wisdom." And as you do that, I invite you to join this community. If this message spoke to your heart, if you feel like now is the time for radical change, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a single message. It's the first step toward a life of purpose and prosperity. And if you want to go even further, consider becoming a channel member. You'll gain access to exclusive content, live sessions where we answer your questions, and the opportunity to help us continue producing messages that impact lives around the world. Your support helps us share these messages of wisdom and hope with more people. It's a way of being generous and investing in the kingdom. Take a step of faith and join today. I declare that God's wisdom will manifest in your financial life starting today, in Jesus' name.